Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. We'll say the Cop Corner then. Hello, everyone. Hopefully, everyone's having a fantastic day from wherever you are around the world, and welcome back to another not post match show, match preview show. You can tell I'm all over the place today. Anyway, but yes, it is our match preview show for Liverpool versus Everton, the red versus the blue side of Merseyside, and yeah, it could be bad by Monday, depending on on what happens. But again, am I nervous? Am I excited? I'm very much on the nervous side. I shouldn't be because we're playing against the Ev. But again, it's Liverpool. You can't really trust it, can you? At the present moment in time, anyway. But guys, let me know how all of you are. Anyway, in the comment section down below, let me know how you a lot are feeling for this game as well. Of course, because again, teams have dropped points. If that means anything for Liverpool this season, in many regards to that. Anyway, but of course again, of course, we will be speaking about that as well. And of course, we've got returns as well with the team. We are going to be speaking about injury news, more into the show. But of course, we're going to be speaking about Diogo Jota in particular. Of course, he is set to return against Everton. Could start the Merseyside derby, but most likely will be on the bench. But again, we'll speak about a bit about that, a bit more about that anyway. Later on in the video as well. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments as well. I know Tom's already in here as well. I bet Tom's licking his lips already, and Sean Dyche's as well when he sees this Liverpool team at the moment. Anyway, but Tom is in saying yes, fella, as well. Hello, Tom. Hopefully on a fantastic day, my friend, as well. Ant is in as well. Of course, Leicester smashing Spurs. Was it 4-1 after Ant? I think, yeah. Inianacho is the truth. It turned up for one game. Well, finally, anyway. But bless up family as well. I'm Phil Uncle as well. Good seeing you as well. Rods as well. Luckily, I'll be at work for the first half of the game. Hopefully, I'm proven wrong. I'm not confident, says Chris. Yeah, it's again. I was felt with very weird bit of optimism for Wolves. And then, yeah, Wolves happened, and I'm like, why on earth did I have a full, like, couple of days of optimism and the fact that, oh, yeah, Liverpool could do something? And then, yeah, it's not been the best, has it, last week or so, or, this season in general. Anyone seen Harry Kane reporting missing his pocket as well? I haven't seen any of the highlights. I think I saw one goal that Leicester scored, and yeah, it's Spurs. I think Antonio Conte might leave at the end of the season. That's all I'm going to say on that anyway. But again, guys, let me know your thoughts as well. If you're new around here as well, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button as well. I'm very confident Anfield will not allow the players to slack off. I hope so. Jungle bloody well hope so. Again, that's the one thing from this is the fact that it is at Anfield, and you're hoping there is going to be a reaction. But I feel like we've said that the entire season, like that something should have happened by now. And it hasn't. And we'll get on to a little bit what Klopp has said in press conferences and that. But again, you want to see a reaction, especially in a Merseyside derby as well. I'm fully on the wind up tonight. I love it as well, for God's sake. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But yeah, it's nice to think for Leicester to win as well. On show some respect to my mate Inianacho. Inianacho, I will never forgive him for that Manchester City like miss ever. I think you should know that by now, Ant, as well. Anyway, but we're going to take a look then at the head-to-heads between Liverpool and Everton over the last couple of seasons. As you can see, of course, last time out in the league, of course, the 0-0 draw that Conor Cody thought he won for the Blue Shite anyway. But again, you look at it overall in the Premier League as of late, Liverpool 13 wins, 13 draws, 2 wins for Everton. Of course, that coming, one of the wins coming more recently against Liverpool on the 20th of February 2021. I believe that was when Richarlison scored a penalty, I think, or he scored a goal. and we had Jordan Henderson, Ozanka back at the back, so fun times in that regard anyway. But again, not many goals between Liverpool and Everton. Again, 0-0, 2-0 Liverpool, 4-1. I think you'll exclude that. That's pretty rare. 2-0, 2-2. I think even if I was to, even go a bit more, you've got, a 0-0, 1-0, 5-2. It's either a massive scoreline, like a 4-1, a 5-2, for example, or it's a 1-0, a 0-0. There isn't, in a Merseyside derby, there isn't many goals, which I figured out over the last, obviously we figured out over the last couple of years, anyway. But of course, it's going to be massively different. Looking at an Everton point of view, of course, Sean Dyche coming in, making an impact straight away in beating Arsenal. And realistically, I think Everton now have one of the better chances in the league to stay up because of Sean Dyche. Again, he kept Burnley up for a very long time before, of course, running out of luck in that regard. Like, for God's sake, he got Burnley to a Europa League, spot in that regard. And again, he'll set up. We already know how a Sean Dyche team will set up. Obviously, 4-4-2, 4-5-1. Like, it's, what to expect. And just taking a quick look anyway, that we're going to do right now at the last team that the last team that played against the Sean Dyche Burnley team. And if I can quickly, there we go. This was the Liverpool team that played in the last time that we played Sean Dyche. I'll quickly, we'll quickly have a look at the Burnley team as well. I'll quickly scroll up, of course. Again, Nick Pope, Connor Roberts, Tarkowski, me, Peters, Lennon, Westwood, Brownhill, Maxwell Cornet, obviously Weghorst as well, and Jay Rodriguez. 4-4-2, again, classic, what you can expect from a Sean Dyche team, which again, looking back at the game against Arsenal in particular, of course, they played 4-5-1. I think even then they'll practically playing six at the back, to be fair, when they went 1-0 up anyway. But you look at the Liverpool team, again, Alisson, Trent, Matip, Virgil, Robbo, midfield, Fabinho, Jordan Henderson, Naby Keita, in this instance as well. Mane, Firmino, and Salah. Now we know from, of course, Jurgen Klopp's press conference, earlier on in the week, we know we're not going to have Virgil van Dijk. We know we're not going to have Bobby Firmino just yet. They are in training. They are in full team training, I think, just early stages of it. So we know we're not going to have them two in particular. So again, it offers up a conversation in Liverpool sense of things of, again, who's going to be playing centre half. Could we see Fabinho there? Like, for me personally, I don't want to see that partnership of Joe Gomez and Joel Matip ever again, because it was that bad against Wolves. It was really, really bad. No communication, lack of leadership there. And I feel while Virgil van Dijk isn't there, I think Fabinho, he isn't playing amazingly in the midfield. We already know this. I think Fabinho should be playing centre half. As long as Virgil van Dijk's not there. If by chance, Van Dijk's been in training the last 2-3 days, because again, you can give his press conference on Friday morning. Again, Virgil, we know, took part in light training, I think, on Thursday afternoon. So again, we don't know what happened Friday. We don't know what's happened today or even tomorrow. So again, you can't rule out Virgil van Dijk. I think Bobby Firmino you can, and then Diogo Jota, which again we'll speak a bit more in a moment. But that's realistically Liverpool's main team coming back slowly but surely, and it's that sense of, again, is there a system change that might come in because Jota's back to fit everyone in? I think for me, if we're going to go back on that centre half conversation, I would personally put Nat Phillips and Fabinho ahead of Joe Gomez. I think Joel Matip hasn't covered himself in glory, especially that Wolves performance was one of his worst in Liverpool jersey. But I think on an overall point of view, I think Matip, if you're going to pick between Matip and Gomez, who's number one there, I think number one quite clearly is Joel Matip. Joe Gomez, I don't think Joel Gomez at the moment is better than Fabinho or Nat Phillips in that regard. So for me, knowing how again, corners, free kicks, how they're going to play. I wouldn't be massively against starting Nat Phillips against Burnley, against Everton. Sorry, but again, it brings up a conversation. I think at centre off. But again, we are going to do a predicted. If we can quickly get it up on the screen for you guys as well. We are going to do a start 11 prediction together. Anyway, if I can quickly make this a bit bigger for you guys. Can I make that bigger? Yeah, there we go. So we're going to do that together. Anyway, of course, we've already got Alisson in goal for Liverpool. But again, guys, let me know. We'll do this in a brief moment anyway. But again, we'll go through it bit by bit together because I think the main conversation is who starts centre half for Liverpool, who's in midfield, and who's up front. Because again, no one's keeping their place at the moment in a Liverpool side at the moment anyway. But yeah, let me know your thoughts anyway, guys. I'll read out your comments in a moment. 6 goals and assists in 2 games for my mate Ian as well. Again, I will never forgive him, Anthony. Ev 2-1 win in my opinion as well. I hate it, but can I argue it at the moment? Sure. Why not? And Southampton have Nigeria's number 1 striker. I forgot Iheanacho existed. Osimhen? is that? Isn't Osimhen the number 1 Nigerian striker at the moment? Am I wrong with this at the minute? And losing 6-2, then winning 4-1 against Spurs. Talking about revenge. Well, how sweet is revenge taste as well? Massive, who never heard of them as well. Need a win today. Played them off the park. Did you go 1-0 down as well, Ant? Or did they just score because he got? Again, I've only seen the results. I haven't seen no stats or anything like that. Nigeria's number 1 striker, and then even Antas Osimhen. Osimhen. To be fair, obviously we'll be speaking about Champions League midweek with Madrid. I think Napoli are a really dark horse for the. This might cause massive controversy on if this gets clipped or whatever, but I do think Napoli are very much a dark horse for the Champions League. I don't know why. But that attack, like Osimhen, Kvaratskhelia, like them two in particular, so good. Like, and again, we know firsthand, just from the group stages of the Champions League. Am I wrong in saying that, chat? That Napoli would be, wouldn't be a bad shout for the Champions League. Like, I think, because for me, if Liverpool beat Madrid over 2 legs, and it won't happen, but if they did, and Bayern beat PSG, I think the Champions League is massively open for a team like Napoli to go on and win it. Again, you look at Champions League history. You look at a Monaco, you look at a Porto. Sorry, you look at a Monaco as well that season. Obviously, it was the season before Liverpool won it with the Champions League. Like, again, I think Napoli have a very good shot at the Champions League. I won't lie. Definitely always goals. That 4-5 stands out as well. Says Trap as well. Nope, Paul. Oh, there we go. Really, is he number 1? That's surprising. I'm not gonna lie. What else do we have? Trap says Dominic Calvert-Lewin apparently ruled out, and that's lucky. Yeah, but he is apparently ruled out. I do have the list right by who's out for Everton. Anyway, so Nathan Patterson is definitely out. Michael Keane is out. James Garner is also out Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and on Anders Townsend is apparently a doubt for the game. So not properly out, but does look likely he won't play against Liverpool. That's Everton's injury news, of course, with us. Like I mentioned, Virgil van Dijk could potentially play. I doubt it though. Thiago is a doubt. That's someone didn't mention. Thiago, I don't think will start. I think he might be involved in some way against Everton, but I don't think Thiago plays or starts at least anyway. Obviously, Bobby Firmino is still recovering. Luis Diaz will be back probably in 2 weeks' time, I think, judging from the news we've had. Kanate still out. Jota will be on the bench, and then Arthur Melo potentially on the. No, might be another week for Arthur Melo, I think, judging from what Klopp said. Anyway, but it'll be interesting as well, guys. Indianapolis scored one of the best goals I've ever seen in that 5-4 loss as well. Trap's gone. I will read that in a moment. Trap as well. What else we have? Alan St. Maximin and Almiron could be ruled out next week as well. Yeah, I did. I was watching the game earlier on. It didn't look good, did it, for Newcastle? And obviously they got their cup. Is it 2 weeks? Is it 2 weeks tomorrow? I think it is the League Cup final. So again, not the best for Newcastle. Brian's in as well. Saying evening, Connor. Hello, Brian. Hopefully on a fantastic day, my friend. Evening, Brian. Good evening, Brian as well, says Hunt. What else do we have? Trap says, does Dyche unleash Gray and McNeil? It's interesting. I think actually, to be fair, let me get Everton's team up that played. Well, I say played. Beat Arsenal last time out. I think that's the worrying sign, is the fact that again they beat Arsenal. And to be fair, Arsenal City are probably, well, they have been the better teams in the league this season. Where are they? There they are. Again, so take a quick look then at the teams that the team that Everton put out as well. For me, I think he's going to be the star the star player to watch out for. Onana, as in the thumbnail. I think Onana will be one of the standouts for Everton, because again, the battle for Liverpool is controlling the midfield. And again, the way Liverpool are at the moment, can Liverpool control the midfield? Easy answer is no. So how do you get around that? Do you stick with the 4-3-3 that clearly hasn't worked? Do you go with the 4-2-3-1 and try and ask a Mo and a Jota to come in behind and try and help that help those two and be a little bit of a 4-4-2 in that regard? Maybe Gakpo and Darwin stays up top. It's a very interesting complex that we're going to have a look in a moment, and we're going to speak about in the starting 11 predictions. But in terms of will Dyche unleash Gray, Tamari Gray had a good game. I think Tom will even mention it. Was one of the better players against Liverpool back last season. So again, I think it just depends who we play in the midfield realistically, because again, that midfield three of Everton, well, the midfield three of Decore, Ghana Gay, and Onana did wonders last week against Arsenal's middle three of Partey, Xhaka, and Odegaard. And when you look at Liverpool's midfield three, or particular midfield three that could potentially play against Everton, it could get bullied quite a lot. So, and plus the problem is with Everton, again, Dominic Calvert-Lewin was there last week. He's not going to be there this week. So is that going to change anything in particular, with Maupay there, or whoever whoever Everton put up top? Tom, let me know who, if it isn't going to be Calvert-Lewin, who's going to be up front for Everton? And I'm guessing it's going to be Maupay, right? And again, I think Liverpool kept Maupay quiet when against Burnley. Anyway, in that system, so again, it swings around about really at what could happen. in particular, but be interesting. 1-0 down within 4 minutes. They didn't have another shot on target till the 88th minute. Jesus Christ. If Klopp doesn't start Nat, I'm giving up as well, says Redbird as well. I think Nat Phillips starts, if I'm going to be honest. I think he does start. Again, you need someone to run through a brick wall for you at the moment. There you go. Like, again, like Nat Phillips will give 100% no matter what. We know this as well. Um, and even in the games he has started, look at the Manchester City game in the League Cup. Okay, he got done, I think, by Erling Haaland, I think, once, but I think 3 or 4 times he managed to get a tackle in on Haaland. And that. So for me, I think Nat Phillips starts. If Virgil van Dijk isn't fit enough to play. But again, yeah, it's whether or not Jurgen will give him the opportunity to to show the fact that he can play as well. But Hannah's in as well, evening all as well, because senior Hannah as well. Nobody will want to play Napoli, that's for sure as well. Yeah, I agree. For me, if Liverpool don't go on to win it, I'd like to see Napoli go on to win it. Obviously, I don't want City, and I don't want PSG going on to win it. I wouldn't mind Sadio getting again the Champions League with Bayern, but again, I'd like Napoli to go on and win it. Because again, it would be kind of nice in that way. Again, thinking of in a way, obviously, Maradona with Argentina winning the World Cup, Napoli going on to win the Champions League. It'd be kind of cool in that, in that aspect of things. But again, it's not 100%, is it? But it's guaranteed. I think they obviously win Serie A now, don't they? This season. That's because we sold them the best winger in England. Was that Gordon? Do you think Gordon's the best winger in England? Jesus Christ, Tom, where the hell have you been? But no, I'm only kidding, of course. But yeah, Newcastle now have supposedly changed their tone on Anthony Gordon. Now it's a bit weird when they were chanting for him earlier on as well. But Everton are good defensively. They're hard to move. Well, was at Anfield last time as well. Yeah, it took Luis Diaz and Divock Origi to change things around. I know Robbo scored at Anfield last year, but again, Luis Diaz came on and completely changed the game, and Divock Origi. So again, you're hoping that'll be the same. Anyway, but it doesn't matter who you put in your midfield. We're going to run all over it all night as well. You could, Tom. Yeah, that's honestly the horrible realization of it. You could. That's the horrible factor of it. But again, like I think everyone in the chat has said, you hope there's going to be some sort of reaction. But again, with Liverpool been saying that all freaking season and nothing's happened yet, it doesn't matter who put the midfield. Trap saying we should go 4-4-1-1. We'll have a look in a moment. Anyway, but yeah, we'll end up being more play up front if Dominic Calvert-Lewin is not starting. Phillips is so underrated. Just his pace isn't the best. That's the only thing. I think honestly, I think his defensive awareness is sound. Obviously, heading is sound. It is just pace with Nat Phillips. I think if he had pace, Nat Phillips would be easily 40-50 million pounds worth. Easily in today's market. If Ben White is going for 50 million, that's what I'm just basing it off. Nat Phillips goes for 45 for 50 million, easy. If he has blistering pace, or has some sort of pace about him, but without it, he's probably still around 20 million, 20-25 million. But again, teams for some reason don't want to take a punt on Nat Phillips. The only team that has wanted to take a punt on him was Bournemouth, and they offered one of the most ridiculous offers I think Liverpool have ever received, to try and save money, which was I think they offered 6 million, and then they offered 40 million in total. 6 million was guaranteed, and the rest was in add-ons or something like that. Again, ridiculous. Of course, Liverpool are not going to accept that in any means necessary. So especially when you can work out the fact that Liverpool got 17 million pounds for Neco Williams from Forest. I think Liverpool could easily get 15-20 million for Nat Phillips as well. Phillips is so underrated. His pace, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you about Nat, but I don't think Klopp starts him. He probably doesn't. He probably sticks with Joe Gomez and um, Joe Gomez and Joel Matip. But if you ask me, I think Nat Phillips should be ahead. Probably the two of them. It's probably like what Virgil. What you've got Virgil, Canate, Phillips, Matip, Gomez at the moment. Because again, uh, Joel Matip hasn't been performing great. He was probably worse than Joe Gomez against Wolves. Probably, I say that, but the both of them were terrible in that regard. Hi Connor as well. Hello Henry. Hopefully on a fantastic day, my friend. Yeah, Serie A is done deal as well. Hi chat. UEFA. Yeah, Tom is an Everton fan. He's a nice Evertonian though. Tom's a very nice fella. So again, please be nice. He is, as he says, I am fella. Yeah, he is. Tom is a very nice guy. And again, um, and if we lose on Monday, Tom won't be very nice. But if we win, then yeah, Tom, I won't be seeing Tom for a very long time. Anyway, but yeah, no, Tom is sound. Hi Brian as well. Hello, blew my shite as well. For God's sake. Tom, don't poke the bear, buddy. You might not like the end result. Don't worry. No, please be respectful, though, guys. Tom is lovely. Apart from when Everton, win. And if you guys were on the channel back 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and we lost to Everton 2-0. Yeah, Tom wasn't fun for a couple of days, but again, it's all fun and jokes, really. Matip's drop off is worse than Fabinho, says Trap. I disagree with that. Fabinho's has been both of their drop offs have been massive, but Fabinho's has been 10 times worse than anyone in the squad. Anyone in the squad. It's been so bad. Um, I'm gonna drop a couple of videos, probably next week, speaking about this. And like obviously we do like a mini series sometimes. Like I haven't done it in a while, but potential transfers for me. I think Liverpool should 100% go after, is it Ugarte from Sporting. I think for me, could be a very, very good signing. But it's that sense of that's all we're hearing at the moment in terms of transfers in the summer is Liverpool just going after midfielders and defenders. But we're not going after a six, we're going after 2 or 3 eights, which I don't think Liverpool need them, but Liverpool need a number six as well. They don't need, you know, like the conversation being spoken about Mason Mount, for example. I think Liverpool shouldn't be anywhere near a Mason Mount, and we're probably not. Like I mentioned on the channel, Liverpool, in my opinion, Mason Mount doesn't fit the profile for Liverpool whatsoever. Um, he's not good enough to be. He's not good enough to be a 10. He's not good enough to be an 8. For me, and it might be controversial, but I don't think Mason Mount. Not so much he's not good enough for Liverpool. It's just the fact that there's probably better players out there at the moment that suit Liverpool better than Mason Mount, in my opinion. But again, I could be wrong with that. But for me, I think the whole story of Liverpool going after Mason Mount, I think, is just to get Chelsea into action by the agencies. You get these things like, oh, Mason Mount speaking to this club, he's speaking to that club, he's speaking to this, that, and whatever. So yeah, I think in particular, I don't think Mason Mount's coming to Liverpool at all. Gomez drop off's been massive too. The whole squad drop off's been massive. It's just you could even put Mo in that regard, but then you look at Mo's stats, and I think Mo has scored. Actually, I think Mo has scored like 17 goals in all competitions. I think. I'll quick look in a minute. Where's Mo Salah's stats? So yeah, in 26 appearances, so this is just Champions League and Premier League, he has scored 14 goals and got 5 assists in 26 appearances, which is a drop off for Mo, but even it's not too bad in that regard. Especially for Liverpool's poor season, at least anyway. To be honest, Everton had James Rodriguez and Richarlison. Then, yeah, Jesus Christ, like that was a time, wasn't it? They had James Rodriguez, Richarlison, and they had Ancelotti as manager. Like Jesus Christ, that's a flash, a flash in the past anyway. But I want to see us in a 4-4-2. I think that was probably the best time for Liverpool this season. Mason Mount was never joining us. I agree. I agree. But Twitter seems to think that Mason Mount would be perfect for Liverpool. I don't think he would. Right, Brian, don't want him. Lol as well. Yeah, no, I don't think any of us want him. Anyway, but we'll get in then to start 11 predictions then, guys. And I want to know from all of you guys in particular, formation. So don't give me the full team. I don't want to know your full teams. I want to know formations from you guys. Do you want a 4-4-2? Do you want a 4-2-3-1? Do you want a 4-3-3? Because again, we're going to do a predictor, and we're going to do it together. Normally, I'll have my starting line prediction out there for you guys already. But I think we're going to do a bit different. Of course, we're using this as Anfield for this as well. But again, obviously, Allison is starting. That's not, that isn't changing anytime soon, at least. But I want to see if we can do something a bit different. Anyway, but Henry says, but I can more or less guarantee Klopp will be playing 4-3-3. Brian's gone 4-3-3 as well. Oh, Tom, a formation change is needed for use, but knowing Klopp, he'll pick a 4-3-3. Yeah, I would agree with that as well. To be fair, but are we going 4-3-3 then, chat? But to be fair, Trap's gone 4-2-3-1. Yes, Tom, he's stubborn as well. Says Henry. Okay, then we'll go 4-3-3. I think Brian's predicting Klopp is a 4-3-3. I think right back and left back, I think speak for themselves in that regard. When we're talking about it, I think quite clearly Trent Alexander-Arnold starts, and then where is he? Andy Robbo starts. Are you happy with that, chat? You agreed with that? Obviously, you could put James Milner at right back as well. And then, actually, to be fair, chat, give me a defence right now. What would be your back four for Everton? My back four, in particular, would be if Virgil van Dijk isn't fit. I would go with Joel Matip and Nathaniel Phillips. That would be my back four. If that was the case, I think that probably is Liverpool's best back four at the moment. As well, Brian's gone. Yep, Trent and Robbo. Henry's gone. If Virgil is fit, he will start. In my opinion, absolutely, I agree with you. I think if Virgil is fit, then Virgil starts. But the problem is Virgil I don't think Virgil will be fit enough to even. He might not even play against Everton as well. But our choices of or what we think Klopp does. Your choices again. It can be whatever, bro. For me, that's what I think. That's what I think Klopp will go with, or what I want him to go with. But again, it's that sense of, does he go Joe Gomez? So it's our choice, though, guys. It's not what Klopp thinks; it's what our choice. VVD and Matip. So if Virgil, I don't know. Who am I? To be honest, Jurgen might be ruled. I might have ruled out VVD to play with Dyche's head. Might have done, and he'll be available. You hope so. So if Virgil is fit, then let me swap Matip. I don't want two Matips in defence. If Virgil is fit, is that Liverpool's best defence right now? So Alisson, Trent, Matip, Virgil, Robbo. Are we saying this? Yeah, I think that's what we're pretty much saying. I think midfield, I think, speaks for itself. Really, obviously, Thiago is out injured as well. So again, the most likeliest place for Thiago is the bench. But I think quite clearly Stefan Bajcetic starts. That's not going to change anytime soon. It's now just the other two. And in my opinion, guys, and let me know your thoughts as well, and keep your comments coming in as well, because we can easily go back as well and talk about the defence as well. Henry says it has to be Virgil Matip. Tom says he will go with Gomez and Matip. I don't think he will risk players coming back from injury for a big game like this. Possibly. And again, I think everyone's in agreement with the midfield. No, I rate Phillips more than Matip right now. I would agree with that as well. Midfield will be Keita, Hendo, and Milner, says Henry as well. Very interesting that. Bajcetic, Henderson, and Keita. I think that's my midfield three. Hendo and Bajcetic in the two because Everton will overrun us. They got legs. We haven't as much as well. Yeah, I would agree. And I think I absolutely agree with you on that, guys, as well. But I don't want that. So we've got Jordan Henderson, and then where's Naby? There's Naby. So that is the midfield three, chat. I think that's pretty much what we've agreed with. And then the front three, and it's going to be interesting if Jota. For me, as far as I know, Jota will be on the bench for this. I don't think Jota will start. So in saying that, I'd say Liverpool's attack will most likely be this. And like, are we saying that, chat, or do we think that it might change? Do we think it might be if Jota is fit? Could we see a Diogo Jota coming in? Is Jota not even on the list? Or Jota's not even on yet? But yeah, well done, this is Anfield. But Jota's not even on the list. But for me, this would be Liverpool's front three for Everton again. And if Virgil is fit, then that would be the team. So you've got Alisson in goal, Trent, Joel Matip, Virgil van Dijk, Andy Robertson, Stefan Bajcetic, Jordan Henderson, Naby Keita, Mohamed Salah, Darwin Núñez, and Cody Gakpo. Are we all in agreement, chat? Okay, I think that's pretty much probably the best 11 you can play, probably without Thiago not being fit and available. If Thiago was fit, I think that's what the team would most likely be. But again, because he's because he's got an injury, a hip injury, then again, it looks like that will be the team. Anyway, so we'll leave it like that then, chat, as well. But that will be my team as well. So let me know your guys' thoughts as well. If Virgil's not fit, though, I would play Nat Phillips. I would say anyway. Hendo and Bajcetic in the two because I was on us. That as well. I rate Phillips, but he hasn't started a game in yonks. I think the last game he played was the Manchester City game in the Carabao Cup. So again, not the best, is it? But again, nothing's worked this season in defence, and we desperately need the 3 points as a must. Yeah, we need to beat Kiev. That's not even even if we have the worst season in forever, we can't lose against Kiev. Like we can't. Núñez, Salah, and Gakpo. Excuse me. Salah, Núñez, Salah, and Gakpo is not working, but I think it's our only choice. I think it is working. The problem is the midfield and the defense hasn't worked for weeks, and it's a little bit confusing. Where like we play Cody Gakpo down the middle for 2 games in a row. We play him down the middle against Chelsea, and we play him down the middle for the FA Cup game against Brighton, and then we switch it back around. Then, and this is where I think if Jota was fit completely, I think Liverpool might have gone to a 4-2-3-1. And I think we might have gone probably Bajcetic and Henderson in a 2. And then we'd have a front four then of Jota on the left, Salah on the right, Gakpo as a 10, and then Darwin up front. That's what I think Liverpool might have gone with. I might even still go against with Real Madrid. But that's the problem at the moment. That again, with players coming back, Luis Diaz is meant to be back in 2 weeks' time, fully supposedly. But again, I don't think Liverpool are going to rush Luis Diaz back this season. I don't want them to rush him back this season because again, I want Luis Diaz fit and available for a very long time because we've missed him, when he's been out of action. So again, you hope that it will be with this team, hopefully you can get Gakpo, Nunez, and Salah. Because I think that when we were playing a 4-4-2, it worked so good in terms of, not Gakpo, sorry, Darwin was, clicking with the team. Salah was scoring goals. You had Harvey Elliott on the right. You had Carvalho on the left. They were working well together. I think you had Henderson or Thiago and Fabinho in a 2 that looked okay. It didn't look, too bad. And then since the World Cup, we've gone back to the 4-3-3, and it clearly doesn't work. Or the way we're trying to do things, it doesn't work. Like Klopp said in his press conference, it'll frustrate people and it's not an answer what people want, but everything he's seeing in training it is in his mind working. And it's like he said, well, the easy answer is, and the plainest answer is, well, do that on a weekend then. Do it when we're playing the actual team instead of, doing it on the training ground. And that's the thing at the moment where, we're supposedly meant to be having like great training sessions, but at the moment we're not performing on the pitch. And in terms of Cody Gakpo, as well, like as Brian said, it's not clicking. Cody Gakpo has been thrown in the deep end with Liverpool. We signed him. I think Liverpool thought like we could play him and not have the bad games still. But quite clearly, Cody Gakpo needs work in terms of, how can I say this? In terms of getting used to the team. Because when you think about it, Darwin Nunez, Mohamed Salah, yeah, they've played together this season, but it's the first season they've played together. They don't know their games in and out. Mo's been used to Bobby Firmino and Sadio Mane the last 4, 5, 6 years. And then you throw in, Cody Gakpo into that. And again, it's not the best in that regard. So, and again, as far as we know, and of course this doesn't count much for this season, but everyone you speak to when it comes to a Darwin Nunez, every single analyst, every single person says that Darwin Nunez goes crazy in his second season. He did it at Almeria, he did it at Benfica, and he'll probably now do it at Liverpool. And that's the thing where, again, you hope with a full season, at the club, or you're hoping next season, but you want something now. And you're hoping for stuff now. Because again, we have to, this might sound really, really stupid coming from my mouth, but we need 40 points to stay in the league. That's the number one target at the moment, is getting that done and dusted, and then looking at whatever. Because again, we're not going to get Champions League football. That's gone, in my opinion. It's now, what do you want from this season? Do you want Europa League? Do you want Conference League? Or do you want a season completely off European football? It begs the question. And again, I think they would want some form of European football. We don't want it. I don't want it if it's not Champions League. But again, the club would want it because, again, it's finance. The club is going to be hit massively by not getting any Champions League football. And that's a problem. It's a massive problem for the Reds. So it's again, it's what's going to work. I think that's the number one thing at the minute with the club. Um, but Brian says, I give VVD a chance because it's Monday night. If it was a game today, he's probably not starting. I think bench is the most likeliest thing for Virgil, if I'm being perfectly honest. But again, hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully he does start. I think Klopp done before saying players unfit, then turned out to be fit. Again, he did say that, I'm saying that he's not available. He did say we'll have to see with I think he said it with Bobby and with Virgil. So again, but I think it's pretty much guaranteed that Diogo Jota will be there against Everton. So that's some form of good news anyway. But Henry saying I gotta go, good night, walk alone as well. Thank you, Henry, for popping in. Excuse me as well. Gakpo got thrown into the bad situation. He needs time out to settle in properly. I agree. Night Henry as well. He went straight from a World Cup into it as well. Yeah, no, he did. He didn't go back to PSV, did he? I think he had 2 training sessions and then signed for Liverpool. So it is. He's gone straight from the World Cup, straight to a new country, straight into a team that's very much struggling. It's like we said, the hope and dream was him to come in and make an impact like Darwin Núñez did, not Darwin Núñez, sorry, like Luis Diaz did. But the realistic point of it was, Liverpool are struggling right now, and it's not getting better, and that's just it. It's just one of these seasons where nothing is happening for Liverpool. We're not having a season where we're a little bit bad in some areas and then we're really, really good in some areas. We're having a season where everything we're doing at the minute isn't good enough. And again, it will need time. And again, like I said, Gakpo, Núñez, and Salah have not played much football together. It's the same with Salah, Núñez, and Luis Diaz. I was looking yesterday. I think that those 3 in particular have played 200 minutes together. Like this season together. It's so ridiculous. It's mental how limited game time those 3 had together. Because of course Darwin was suspended, and then obviously then Darwin got injured, and then Luis got injured. So again, it's one of these things, isn't it? Just needs time as well. But so how many goals does Diaz have for Liverpool? Luis Diaz has, double check this now. Luis Diaz. Someone will know in the chat before me. Watch. Luis Diaz. Nope, that's the wrong Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz has 10 goals for Liverpool so far in his Liverpool career. As far as I know, he's played 38 games and he's got 10 goals for Liverpool. So, again, but it's not just that. It's not just the goals, though, is it, Bry? It's what he brings to the team. And again, he's been phenomenal. Again, this season, he's been Liverpool's best player by a country mile. And he's been out for, 4 or 5 months for Liverpool season so far. So, again, it just goes to show anyway. But for me, guys, anyway, I'm going to go 1-0 Liverpool. Might be mad for me to say clean sheet for Liverpool. But again, there's not many goals in a Merseyside derby. And yeah, I'm going to go with Darwin Núñez winner. That's what I'm going to go for me anyway. But yeah, 1-0 win for Liverpool. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Again, I could be optimistic in that way. And again, within about 10 minutes of the game, we could be 2-0 down. That's the way it's going at the minute. But yeah, it's not great at the minute, guys, is it? But again, we have to beat Yev. Like, if these players aren't up for a Merseyside derby, which the atmosphere should be absolutely rocking on both ends, like, again, it's going to be absolutely terrible if we lose this game. And again, hopefully we can somehow turn around our season something good anyway. But let me read out the last two comments then of the video because I just bloody checked we've gone 15 minutes. Jesus Christ, I'm going to be a half an hour stream. I'm not sure as well, says Mark, and I would have guessed 15. It's the one thing he can improve, being more clinical as well. I would agree with you on that. Draw for me, and then Doug saying as well, saying hey Connor as well. But yeah, I'm going to go 1-0. Guys, as well, for the Merseyside derby for Liverpool. And again, Darwin Núñez to score the goal. But again, you hope Virgil might be back. Jota will be back, which is a great thing. And again, you hope maybe others, maybe Bobby might be back as well. But again, that Virgil van Dijk one is lingering a little bit. I don't think he'll be fit. Obviously, Thiago as well. That's another one. I think Thiago will be on the bench, though. If I'm being perfectly honest with you guys, I think Thiago will be around the team. It's just I don't think he'll start for Liverpool. But again, any wonder he's not available. But he's been running himself into the ground for Liverpool's team at the moment. Again, not being brilliant himself, but he's been probably apart from Bajcetic, he's probably been the better one out of the rest of them anyway. But that's going to be it from me, guys, anyway. Big thank you to all of you guys. Apologies. This stream was meant to be done yesterday, but I've been unwell. I've been the best over the last couple of days, which, again, sucks. I hate being ill. Being ill is one of the worst things you can possibly go through, especially when you don't know like what's wrong with you as well, which again, it sounds terrible, but again, I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I was really, really ill. And yeah, I could barely, do things, which again, wasn't COVID, wasn't anything like that. It was just weird as well. And I can see Doug mentioned the rugby as well. Wales are a joke, don't get me wrong. Well done, Scotland. Well done, Ireland as well, and beating France as well. But again, I don't care about any of that. I care about Monday night. I care about beating the Ev, and hopefully we can batter the Ev at Anfield. Hopefully, anyway. But until then, guys, I've been Connor from the Cop Council. If you haven't yet already, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button as well. And yeah, hopefully we can get to 1K before the end of the season. Fingers crossed as well. I think we are currently, I think we're 1.2K on TikTok, I think. So again, if you're not following us on TikTok, we just upload shorts and that and so on. And again, check out the shorts as well on the channel because again, we post clips from Klopp's press conference if there's anything in there or if he gives any update and so forth as well. So if anything I missed that I don't say on the previews, again, we most likely put them on there as well anyway. But until then, guys, that's going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cop Council. I'll see you all then. I'll see you on Monday. Ta-ra.